We go. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the bout you've all been waiting for. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Madison Square Garden, it's time for the main event of the evening. Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the red corner, entering the ring wearing black trunks with white trim, hailing from North Preston, Nova Scotia in Canada. He weighed in at 260 pounds even. His fine record stands at 34 wins, 1 defeat, 1 draw, with 25 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the number 5 ranked heavyweight in the world by the WBC, introducing Kirk Johnson. And his opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, this 12-round main event, wearing black trunks with gold trim, hailing from Kiev, Ukraine. His weight 250 pounds even. His record stands at 32 wins, 2 losses, 31 big wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, currently ranked the WBC #1 contender. Please welcome the former WBO heavyweight champion of the world, introducing Vitali Klitschko. Let's get Arthur Mercanti, our referee, now to give instructions.
Good evening, Kirk. Good evening, Vidal. You received your rules early in the night by the New York State Athletic Commission. I want a nice, clean fight, touch gloves. Good luck to the both of you.
Arthur Mercanti Jr., the referee tonight, and Vitali Klitschko, in the eyes of many, perhaps achieving the status of uncrowned champion of the world. He was ahead on all 3 judges' cards when he fought Lennox Lewis back in June, before being stopped with those dreadful cuts both above and below his left eye. And one of the key factors of this fight surely has to be how well those injuries stand up. Klitschko, who stands around about 6'7", he's a full 4 inches taller than Johnson, who surprised many by coming into this fight at 260 pounds. That's 18 stone 8 and 10 pounds heavier than Klitschko, who as ever looks in terrific shape.
Well, as you said, John, we was lucky enough to be there that night when Klitschko boxed Lennox Lewis and received those horrendous cuts. What will remain, the key factor for this will be whether those cuts will actually hold up, because this fight, as Johnson knows, will get very physical. Will his skin hold out?
Well, what Klitschko showed beyond any shadow of doubt that night in Los Angeles is that he has really got a very, very big heart. He needed plastic surgery on those cuts, and there's a good right hand, right on target straight away. And he showed that he can take a shot. He showed he's got a will to win, and he's already starting to find the target. There's a good sweet left hand in there as well, and that overhand right. And Johnson is starting to ship punishment in this opening round. Another good right cross there from Klitschko.
Well, Klitschko has started this round off real positively behind that long sweeping jab that he has. He carries the left hand very, very low, but it's very, very effective.
Johnson's defeats have come against John Ruiz, and he was defeated there on disqualification. It was for low blows, and some questioned his fighting heart after that one, and certainly there have been questions raised about some of his preparations in the past, and you have to say he doesn't look in the greatest of shape in there.
Well, let's look at Klitschko for 1 minute. I mean, this guy is a real big, tall, athletically built professional. He really is, and he takes a hell of a shot. I mean, in that Lennox Lewis fight, he took some absolutely thunderous right uppercuts and left uppercuts, right hands from Lennox Lewis, but he stood up to everything and came back with his own fantastic punches.
That chopping right hand, Duke, is looking a real danger shot, and Kirk Johnson is been on more than one occasion in this opening round in dodgy territory. He's really whipping in that right cross, and it is exploding onto the head of Johnson, and there again he has to absorb another one.
Well, you know, if Johnson keeps eating right hands like this, they will have an accumulative effect on him as the rounds start to go on. Surely now he's all fired up and he's taking these shots, but as the rounds go on and he starts to tire, these shots will take their toll.
Spoke to Emmanuel Stewart this week and he said to me he thought this was a 50-50 fight. Well, it looks anything but at the moment. A little bit of a ticking off work around the back of the head from the referee Arthur McCanty. Arthur McCanty Jr., of course, his father, a very famous referee for many a year, and one of the judges working on this promotion tonight.
Klitschko's come out in this round, in his first round, you know, absolutely baying for blood.
He looked very sharp indeed. That was a good 3 minutes from Dr. Iron Fist, they call him. Based in Germany, living actually now in Los Angeles, but he's with the German team of Klaus-Peter Kohl. Freddie Roach, the familiar figure outside the ropes in the glasses, working in the coaching team, the man who was behind James Toney, and also coached Mike Tyson in his most recent fight, formerly with Steve Collins. And you can just see closest to us there, Vladimir, the younger brother who many think is perhaps the superior boxer. He's there giving his advice as well.
You all right, you all right. But you want to fight him a little bit now. You got to fight him a little bit. Jab, right hand, hook. Come on, baby. Use that jab, baby. Come on, Curtis.
Well, how fit is Kirk Johnson? It really doesn't look terrific to me. He's blowing there, and a few anxious eyes in that corner. There's the familiar white-haired figure of Lou Duva. He's been around the fight scene for many a year.
Well, Johnson can't really afford to stand off too much off of Klitschko. This is where he needs to be. He needs to get his head right in Klitschko's chest and start punching, because if he stands and gives Klitschko the room that he's got now, he gets picked off at range.
Got to get away from that right hand, the big swinging overhand right from Johnson, but I think Klitschko saw that one coming a mile off.
Well, that's not a bad thing to apply against a tall man. You know, the overhand shots like that, if he can just signal those through and pierce that guard of Klitschko's, then he's going to have some success.
Klitschko bossing this one though at the moment. Johnson trying to find a way back, trying to carry the fight to Klitschko, but there's another solid right hand, and he's taking shot after shot like that. Those, of course, were the punches which gave Lennox Lewis a problem. When a man stands 6'7.5", 6'8", very difficult to get past that long lead, and there again he's tagging his man with real good quality headshots.
Well, Klitschko, again, he started this round off real hard, and he really fancies this. Good try there from Klitschko from the right hand, chopped right down on it.
He looks to me as though he's really trying to unload with that right hand, and Johnson doesn't look as though he's got all the reactions to get away from it, and now a real solid left as well from Klitschko. People say, I've heard people say he's an arm puncher, but he's nothing more than a devastating puncher with that right hand, and Johnson's got all the trouble he needs.
Yeah, but look what Klitschko does when he throws the right hand. He turns his elbow right behind the punch to deliver up to mid power on the back of that shot.
Plenty of support in Madison Square Garden. The chance of Klitschko going up from the Ukrainian community who's here in force, and Johnson does a funny little dance as he goes back across the ring, and Klitschko is looking to take him out here, gesturing Johnson to come back at him, but Johnson doesn't look to me as though he's got too much left. Is Klitschko going to take him out in the second round? This is a real declaration of intent to the heavyweight division, and Johnson taking a first count.
Explosive onslaught there from Klitschko when he had Johnson in the ropes there. Just turn that right hand right over for, again, maximum power.
Well, Kirk Johnson didn't look great at the start of this fight, and he looks very much worse now, and he will do very well indeed to get through this attack. And there's still a lot of seconds before the end of this second round. 20 seconds to go, and Johnson is just chipping shot after shot, and surely that's going to be it. It is indeed. The referee, Arthur McCanty, has signalled that it's all over, and Vitali Klitschko has sent out a message with that. That was one very impressive performance. Johnson didn't look good tonight, but Vitali Klitschko did everything that was needed, and if he is the champion-elect, he certainly looked like one.
You know what, that kid has done exactly what he needed to do to come back from the Lennox Lewis defeat. Unfortunately for him, he got the bad cuts, but he had Lennox in all kinds of problems. But look what he's done tonight. He's beaten a number 5 contender, he's taken on a legitimate contender and absolutely annihilated him.
Well, Vitali they call him in Germany. If you want the Ukrainian pronunciation, Vitali, no doubt about the surname, Klitschko, and he remains one very, very big man and one very big threat to Lennox Lewis if Lewis ever decides to get back in the ring once again. Celebrations, the Ukrainian flag flying, and here you see the power of Klitschko, Duke.
Well, he just got Johnson backed up into the corner. He just unloaded him with everything that's coming into his head. He can't miss the kid, but the most impressive thing about Klitschko for me is his confidence now. He's come away from that defeat. He's come away from that defeat with just absolute an abundance of confidence. Every punch he's throwing, he's throwing with real intent, head and body.
See again, though, the really poor physical condition, though, of Kirk Johnson coming into a fight there with that amount of fat around the body just is not good, and I think that lack of conditioning maybe has cost him dear. And Klitschko was in no mood to be denied. Terrific right hand that finished the fight.
Again, Klitschko works the head and body there through 1 or 2 body shots, piercing right hand down the pipe, never stopped throwing punches until the referee intervened.
Vitali Klitschko celebrating like a champion, and here comes the official verdict.
And gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes 54 seconds in round number 2. A referee in charge, Arthur Mercanti, stops the contest. The winner by way of technical knockout, and still the #1 heavyweight contender, Vitali Klitschko.
So will there be the rematch with Lennox Lewis? Only time will tell, but for the moment the celebrations are for Vitali Klitschko.
Well, impressive.
Round 3, and Joe Macy on our cards in the blue shorts on the right of your picture. He has probably done enough to take the opening 2 rounds. Certainly the power shots have come from the smaller man, Macy, 30 years old, from Buffalo in New York City. Undefeated in 27 fights, up against Monty Barrett from New York. Barrett with 2 defeats on his record, and he's been implored by his corner to relax and start sticking the jab and try and employ more lateral movement to keep away from the trademark swinging, stinging, clubbing hooks of Joe Macy. As I say, he's undefeated. He's not really been in against the highest level of opposition yet, but he's got a terrific following, and he can bang.
He certainly can bang, but this is a better start to this round, I think, from Barrett. You know, he's come out behind a real good jab. Okay, Macy's still applying steady pressure, but Barrett's just beginning to find a little bit more range with his jab.
What a good right hand, and that gets a buzz of acclaim right up into the bleachers of this massive arena in New York.
But, you know, that's quite sensible by Barrett. He got nailed with his shot there, and as Macy come in, he just grabbed hold of his right arm and kept him tight. Wouldn't allow him to get away to work cleanly again.
Well, that's experience, isn't it? 31 pro fights, and he's been around the block. He's got an experienced corner as well.
And he's fighting back now, Barrett, which is good to see. You know, he's taking some of Macy's best shots, but Macy's getting through with that jab that he has. He's got a short crouching jab, and he sticks it right out, and everything comes behind that jab.
He really stands down on the shots, doesn't he? Plants himself and gets maximum purchase when he throws. He really throws with intent.
Absolutely. He makes himself a very small target. He's short enough as it is for heavyweight, but the smaller you make yourself, the harder it is for a taller guy to punch down on that target.
Fighters can prosper with that. Witness Mike Tyson. Claims to be 6 foot, but I don't think he is. Maybe only around about 5'10". Rocky Marciano back in the 50s was no skyscraper, and he's the man who is perhaps a little bit reminiscent of Macy, according to those who would seek to make Macy a big box office attraction. Perhaps it's a little bit fanciful, but time will tell.
Well, Macy's looking pretty fresh still, and he's still applying steady pressure.
Barrett's got himself into great condition, though. You talk about fighters who get in shape, and you only need to look at Barrett to see that he's really put in the work in preparation for this.
Well, he'll need to, because, you know, there's a lot of body movement and there's a lot of body contact going into this fight. It's quite a physical fight, so you'd expect both fighters to be in good shape.
Well, Barrett's come back into that round. Good opening from Macy, but Barrett certainly had more of that round, and I think that he's starting to work his way into the fight. There was a lot of frustration earlier on from Barrett, as Macy was able to get in with some big hooks like that one. There were plenty of those in the opening 2 rounds. But Barrett has come back well and thrown some decent shots of his own.
Oh, Barrett hit Macy with a tremendous left hook of his own, a big looping long left hook in the round previous to this, so he needs to try and just keep doing that.
A little bit of grazing around that left eye, a little nick you can see, but no great damage, I don't think. No great damage being done. So Macy, and a big crowd turned out here tonight.
It's a fabulous crowd, it's a fantastic atmosphere. Macy's working really hard to put on a show for everybody that's in attendance.
Scheduled for 10 rounds. And we've got Macy probably a couple of rounds ahead at this stage, but Barrett has started to settle down into the fight.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration, I feel, in Macy's work. You know, he's applying steady pressure all the time. He's being assertive but not overly aggressive. Doesn't want to walk into any punches that might be coming his way from Barrett, which is a good tactic to employ. I'd like to see Barrett, though, really use that jab to its full effect. He's got height and reach on this guy.
Trying to tee off the old 1-2 there, the left-hand lead right cross.
Yeah, it's better work from Barrett. Started this round well again.
He's up onto his toes, trying to use his possibly superior mobility, because Macy is a sort of plodding sort of fighter, dangerous when he gets into range.
Absolutely he is, but right now what Barrett's starting to demonstrate is how to actually beat Joe Macy. If he can put distance on him, give him some good lateral movement, doesn't have to be anything fancy, you know, step left, step right, pump the jab, step left, step right, come back with a right hand. That's how you beat this kid. Give him plenty of angles, but if you stand still, you're in trouble.
Oh, good shot from Macy. Barrett takes it well. One of the judges for this fight, incidentally, Arthur McCanty Sr., now well into his 80s, still a very fit man. In fact, he was refereeing into his 80s.
He certainly was, but there's been a clash of heads there, I feel. It doesn't look like there was any real damage done, but Barrett just showed out to the referee there that he was in a little bit of disarray.
Well, Barrett wants to keep away from that, and of course he'll be mindful of the fact that he has got that little nick over the left eye. Macy will be trying to work away at that one. He'll be fully aware of that and trying to capitalise on that injury. It could be a factor the further the fight goes. Body shot from Macy. There was a left hook to the body before he attempted to tee off that overhand right.
You know, as the rounds go on, if they progress on like this, then I feel that Barrett will become a little bit more disillusioned, because he's not getting through with the shots that he did at the beginning of the round. He starts each round nice and purposefully, but as the rounds go on, he allows Macy to just steamroller him and just keep ploughing forward. But the fight back's begun now from Barrett. He must have heard what I said. He's starting to fancy it now and starting to throw some good cluster of punches.
Well, he's working better behind the jab, isn't he? Earlier on, he wasn't establishing the jab, and he has got a marked reach advantage over Macy. And Macy's not quite getting through with the effect that he was earlier on with those hooks.
This is better from Barrett, because he's just allowing himself a bit of distance.
Well, close round that one. I reckon there wasn't too much between them there. Difficult one to score.
Yeah, I'd make it about even, because nobody really stamped their authority in the round. There was no real clean punches landed. You see a lot of Macy's work is just smothered or missed.
Barrett, as we've said, an extremely experienced fighter. And they've done a pretty good job on that injured left eye. Into the 5th round. Macy may be just edging this, but he's not really at this stage looking like a man who's going to sweep through the heavyweight division.
Oh, it's a real tough division. You know, there aren't that many easy fights out there for him. You know, when you've got a big following like he has and a managerial group like he has, you know, it's all about being juggled and steered towards, you know, the championship.
But he's finding difficulty getting past the reach of Monty Barrett, who's, what, 6'2", 6'3". That's a good shot, though. Just as you say that, I suppose that's the curse of commentators. Just as you say, he's finding it difficult to get past the reach. There he goes with the power, which is it's what makes him such a draw. If he does get into range, then that's what he can do.
He looked totally disinterested at the beginning of this round, Macy, and then found a home for that right hand, which came crashing onto Barrett's jaw.
Fourth round, we'd seen Barrett starting to really fight with greater effect and starting to frustrate Macy, but there he is, gets the opportunity, and bingo, good shot that was.
Fortunately for Barrett, he landed on that bottom rope and never touched down cleanly. Okay, it was scored a knockdown, but he didn't actually touch down, so it wouldn't have taken as much out of him as it would have done if it had been a clean knockdown.
Well, he seems to have regained composure pretty well.
And he switched stance now, Barrett, to try and confuse Macy. He switched to the southpaw stance. He's leading with the right hand to try and confuse him. Buy himself some valuable time, clear his head.
Well, if there's any doubt about who was leading this fight before that, there's no doubt now. Macy is in the box seat.
Now, Macy's just realised that what's happened, and he realised he's fighting a southpaw now as opposed to the orthodox fighter, and he switched off a little bit. Not quite being able to capitalise on that knockdown now. See, since the knockdown, he hasn't been able to get in close. He needs to get his left foot on the outside of Macy's left foot also, so he can get the jab over the top to come through with his right hand, like that.
He only missed by a whisker with that left hook. If that had landed, Barrett could have been down again.
Macy needs to keep moving around to his left, keep his foot on the outside, and that allows him a free range with his own right hand.
Well, that's a push, surely. Indeed. Surely the referee's going to indicate, yeah, no knockdown. That was a push. It was with the inside of the glove.
A little bit of frustration there on Macy's part. Again, that southpaw stance has caused him one or two more problems to think about.
Well, Macy's gone back to his corner looking pretty happy with himself, though, for having found the target. And goodness me, that was a good shot. Just as I was saying that he was having difficulty getting past the lead. Wallop. What a good punch that was.
It was a good shot. It comes right over the top against the taller man. As you said earlier, John, he just detonates the right hand on Barrett's jaw.
Can't teach that, can you? You've either got it or you've not.
Yeah, he's a real genuine puncher, this kid. Make no mistake about that.
If you don't reach him with the first one, you reach him with the second.
You're packing the fucking jab. And then you get to him, you hit him one punch, you don't throw no more. You gotta go some punches sharp, just like you hitting the fucking match. That's all you do.
He's trying to get him to sharpen up his work.
You know, some of Barrett's corners sound like rap artists in there.
Some people respond to that, others don't. I remember during Howard Eastman's fight against William Joppy, he turned to one of his cornermen and said, "Please stop swearing, I don't like it."
It's incredible.
Well, it's due to go 10 rounds, and Macy is surely now ahead and well ahead on the judges' cards. We reckon he won the opening 2 rounds. Closer in the third and the fourth. But a good punch, that right hand, putting Barrett down.
Well, Macy needs to try and, you know, capitalise on that knockdown and really take the fight to Barrett. You know, get a little bit of lateral movement going on from the waist and just try and shuffle his way in, make him miss and make him pay.
Barrett's reverted to the orthodox stance now. I suspect that Macy will be quite pleased about that. He didn't look too certain about coping with the southpaw.
Absolutely. You know, Barrett's good chance it would have been if he'd have stayed southpaw, because that would have confused Macy, but now he's gone back to try and slugging it out with the puncher.
Well, Barrett's landed a couple of shots of his own, but they just bounced off Macy.
Barrett's going looking for him. It could be quite costly for him. Needs to keep his hands up and his chin down. You know, with the shorter guy that obviously carries a lot of power, it's quite a strange strategy to adopt.
The crowd would love to see more of what we saw in the last round from Macy. Bulk of them behind the Italian-American, even though Barrett is a New York man himself.
You know, if Macy hooks off the jab, then he'll catch Barrett, because he's trying a single shot, he's trying a jab, and then the hook follows a few seconds later. But if he does both at the same time, then he gets through.
Barrett looks uncomfortable punching down, doesn't he? He's not the style of Macy is not to his liking.
Now, you know, as I said earlier about the crouching style of Macy, it's hard to hit a small target, believe it or not, from the taller opponent.
Another good right hand. This time Barrett takes it well, though. Shakes his head as much as to say, well, you're going to have to do more than that.
He did take the shot well, but you know, Barrett needs to shorten his punches on the inside. If that's where he wants this fight on the inside, he needs to shorten his punches. You know, he's a taller guy, he needs to pull his arms in and just work up and down. But Macy's got him with a fantastic right hand over the top, and his legs have gone completely.
Well, there's the old pro. He gave himself a few seconds, he hung on, and goodness me, he needed to, and he still looks a little bit unsteady there. Closing seconds of the 6th round, can he hang on? Another big right hand from Macy. I think he might be able to see it through to the end of the round, though. Another one. Barrett has to ship some real punishment in the closing seconds of this round. Lands a right hand of his own, but Macy again in the closing seconds finds the big right hand. That's been the danger shots which Barrett hasn't been able to cope with, and now they really have a problem turning this one around. Ringside doctor having a look. He's satisfied that everything's okay.
Round 7.
Get some water. You got to fight. You got it up in you to fight? Yeah. Then let it go. 7 rounds. What the fuck are you doing in there? He's counting my job. Counting my ass. Then double it 10. The man is tired too. If you get there and fight like you're supposed to fight, the fight's
Well, they're trying to raise his game, Duke. I don't know whether that's going to work or not. It seems that he's technically having a problem with him.
Well, he gets the emotion there and told his corner that Macy was reading his jab. So they told him to double the jab. Instead of throwing single shots, double the jab. That's the right hand that Macy caught Barrett with. There was a fantastic shot, but he's been trying that all night long, and he's starting to get through now.
So into the 7th. And who knows what the judges are saying. You can make your own decision up watching it. But I suspect that Macy at the moment is well in control, but now he's been caught by a little left-hand counter. Well, goodness me. Again, just as I was saying that he was in control, he gets caught earlier on. Just as I was saying that he was finding difficulty getting to Barrett, he lands the right hand. What a topsy-turvy fight this is turning out to be.
Well, this is exposed Joe Macy now, because he's been caught with a great little short left hook, it appeared to be, from Barrett. Right when you thought the kid's heart was going out the fight, he comes out and lands a shot like that, which shows that Joe Macy is only human after all. He needs to throw caution to the wind now and start charging after this guy. Try and, you know, pick up on what he's just done. Really take it to him, see what's in the tank.
Well, that is a big swing, really is, because Macy had looked in control, and one shot maybe has turned it around. It's what makes this sport so fascinating. You never do know.
Well, and Barrett's got to be careful that he doesn't punch himself out. You know, he's swinging, and when you miss with big swings like that, it's so tiring, as opposed to hitting the target. But he can't allow Macy's head to clear. He needs to just jump straight on him.
Well, who knows now? Macy surely has the points advantage. But Barrett, who, let's be honest about it, he was brought into this fight as a man who was going to be a test for Macy, but was expected to be beaten. He's now right back in this fight.
Oh, good body shot there from Barrett. Lovely shot.
I'll tell you what, Macy looks as though he's running out of gas a bit.
Well, you know, these punches are hurting, and they take a lot of wind out of your sails. You know, you can be on top of a fight, and then you get hit all of a sudden. All of a sudden, your head goes down, you start feeling sorry for yourself. You're not necessarily tired, but psychologically, you're knackered.
Barrett's corner had said to him before the round, come on, he's tired, just like you are. Barrett's certainly fighting now as though he fancies it.
just trying his own big little 1-2 there from Barrett. Needs to get in a bit closer and shorten those punches like he just done with that shot. This is better from Barrett, really fancying it, trying the right hand.
And Macy's coming charging in, and he gets tagged again by two solid right hands and a good jab. Now that is very much better work. And an uppercut. Great right uppercut from Barrett. And Macy ships them all and the left hook.
This is what heavyweight fighting's all about, you know, one punch from glory, one punch from disaster, as we saw with Macy, and he had everything going for him, and now it looks like he's letting it slip.
Well, the crowd were on their feet with that little exchange, and rightly so. Both men teeing off with real solid headshots, and that's a big round for Monty Barrett. Macy came back with some punches of his own, but Barrett is now right back in this fight.
He's right back in it, and Macy's eyes looked glazed as he went back to his corner. Sure, he motioned to the corner that he was okay, but I'm not so sure.
I want you to start using your jab.
Okay.
We're going for round 8 now. All right?
Okay.
8th round. 8th round now. Got it?
Box this guy for a
Both
round.
this round. Box this round. Move.
Box this guy for a round.
Dead breath. Straight your leg. Listen. Keep your hands soft, man. You see people screaming here. Listen. And when you get hit hard.
Quite bad swelling over that left eye. They're working with the iron there to try and get the swelling out of it. And it may well have been that the punch which put him down did it. Goodness me, he really walked into that one. That was a terrific shot.
It was a great shot, but you know, that's just what Barrett needed to get him back into this fight. That sweeping left hook, he shortened it beautifully, timed it quite well as Macy came in.
Well, don't they always say that the short ones are the ones which really do the damage?
Absolutely. Fantastic left hook.
Into the 8th round.
See, Macy's started this round with his hands up, and now he's actually dropped them, which allows Barrett to land that right hand over the top to come back with his own left hook.
Well, they told him to box him for a round, presumably thinking that they're ahead on points against Barrett, which I suspect is probably correct. But has he got the boxing skills to stay away from him? And Barrett's gone back looking for him again. Real good, meaty body shot, which he clubbed into the side of the midriff of Macy.
You know, it is good advice from Macy's corner to say to him to box, get your way through this round, but then that gives Barrett confidence to take the fight to Macy.
Well, Barrett clearly now senses that he can spring the upset.
Well, Barrett's taking the centre of the ring, and this is where fights are won and lost. He's taking centre of the ring, and he's looking to land those big punches yet again.
Give up predicting the outcome of this particular one. It really is absolutely in the balance here.
Well, Macy's ahead, obviously, we think on points, but you know, if Barrett can land another knockdown, that brings him even closer to the finishing line.
He'll find another left hook like he found in the last round. Might be actually on the finishing line. And Barrett's going looking for him again, trying to cut off the ring as Macy's up onto his toes. Macy just trying to survive, just trying to steal this one and landing a good right over the top.
You know, if Macy keeps backing off and Barrett keeps ploughing forward and pumping out shots like that, he wins this round. He's a step closer, obviously, as we said, to the finishing line. There's only 2 rounds to go after this. This is anybody's fight.
Hook him down, grab him.
A minute to go in the 8th.
So Barrett's got his chin tucked down now and his hands up. He throws sweeping shots every now and again, and these shots do hurt. Oh, he's got Macy again with that right hand.
Good shot from Barrett, it really was. I have to say I've not been particularly impressed with Joe Macy tonight, and he's now showing these defensive inadequacies once again. Big shots from Barrett going through, and that left eye of Macy is swelling up by the second.
Is Macy another one of these fighters that's been built up on hype? You know, when he takes that final step up, does he come unstuck?
Well, fighters like Monty Barrett are the sort of people who've been around the block for a long time. When you talk about hyped fighters, these are the sort of people who you've got to get through. With the people like Audley Harrison watching this one, no doubt, and the likes of Monty Barrett are the people that you've got to be able to beat if you're going to get up to the very top. Well, good round and Barrett finishing it strongly once again. This fight is surely now closing by the second. There's Donald Trump, an interested spectator at ringside, the American billionaire.
Time to what? Stick and move.
We've still got Macy just slightly edging this fight.
Right hand. He come the right hand. Chin down. Chin down. Then we're gonna bang down the motherfucker. Let's go. Come on.
Come on, Joe.
Show me what you can do, right?
Hit him to the body.
Seconds out, let's go. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, Trace.
Well, there's some terrific exchanges in that round, and that was probably the best punch of the round, came from Barrett. 2 rounds to go.
Now, I do like the way Barrett starts these rounds now. His confidence has grown immensely, and he comes up with his hands up nice and high and his chin tucked down. You know, he's not just going to be coming out and letting Baby Joe get back into this fight. He's just trying to think a little bit defensively minded as he is attackingly. But every time Barrett comes out, he takes the centre of the ring, and that's where this fight's won.
It could well be that this fight is going to be won or lost by what happens in these last 2 rounds. Maybe that it's as close as that.
I still feel that Macy might be a round up.
He's not done too much for the last couple of rounds.
If Barrett can have a couple of big rounds, you know, maybe even get another knockdown, that makes him right back in the fight, and then he's got 1 round to go. He could possibly turn this fight around. Heavyweight boxing really is so exciting, because, you know, 1 punch can just turn the fight around. You could be a mile ahead. Unlike in the lighter weights, where a lot of skills involved with, you know, jabs, uppercut, hooks, quick combinations, stuff like that. You don't really see that from too many heavyweights.
I remember a couple of years ago seeing Oliver McCall have his head boxed off for about 8 or 9 rounds by Henry Akinwande, and then bang, suddenly comes the big hook from McCall, and out goes Henry Akinwande. Good night. That's the sort of thing which can happen, and it's why there's always that premium, isn't there, on heavyweights? There's always that little buzz of excitement because of that power.
But now we see Barrett stalking Joe Macy. He knows he's got his number to a degree. You know, he knows he's carrying a lot of power, and he's hurt Macy, and that's given him all the confidence he needs now to take this fight to Macy and try and turn it around.
Macy's taking shots now, Duke.
Well, he's backing up voluntarily. You know, he's not going back trying to counter punch. He's going back because he's been hurt. He's gone a little bit gun shy, Macy.
Macy taking an awful lot, and if he were in against one of the really big heavyweights, you'd question whether or not he was going to have the technical ability to withstand the sort of power that they can deliver, because Barrett isn't a particularly big puncher.
He's not a concussive puncher, but you know what? Every time he's getting through on Macy, he's hurting this kid. Macy needs to try and do something now to get back into this fight, you know, and stamp his authority.
Is it slipping away? Is the highly touted prospect, the man who they thought could be what's been called, of course, down the years as a great white hope? This is another one. Is he going to be exposed here by a man who really knows his way around a boxing ring? Does Monty Barrett? And Barrett, I think, has probably done enough to win that round as well, and this is closing by the round. Only 1 to go now, and who knows how the judges are scoring it, but certainly I'm making it closer by the minute, Duke.
It's an absolutely nip and tuck fight. There's nothing in it whatsoever. I'd have Macy going 1 round ahead going into this final round.
Every time he hit this man with a hook,
Barrett's just won that last round. If he can win this round on my card, he gets the draw.
Stand up and look at him.
Double that left
You
hand.
acting like you're scared, and I'm telling you the motherfucking truth. That's what you're acting like. You're not fighting.
I'm just trying to tell him.
He'll walk into the hook. Just keep the jab in. Hit him with it. He's trying to hit you with the right hand. That's all the hell he's got. Come on, Joe. You're a better fighter than this. Hey,
Show me, come on.
Yeah, he's underperforming, they reckon, in that corner, don't they? They're saying you're a better fighter than that, but you can see the way he has walked into that right hand of Monty Barrett by the wicked swelling over the left eye. Not perhaps quite affecting his vision, but it's not far off. Now, 1 round to go, and Macy needs a big one to make sure of it. Is it going to be the upset? Is Monty Barrett going to get there? And certainly the further this fight has gone, the more it's gone Barrett's way. He's had the knockdown. Macy had one earlier on, 1 knockdown apiece, but Barrett has come on strong in the closing stages in the second half of the fight.
And fortunately for Macy, it's not a 12-round fight, because that eye of his is starting to shut with quite regularly. He's starting to close up now. And the more right hands he takes on that right eye, the quicker it will shut. That will give this kid even more confidence. And yet it's Barrett. Look, he's going after Macy.
Well, Macy trying to use the footwork, but he's no Sugar Ray Leonard, is he, the way he moves around the ring? And Barrett is not finding him a difficult target to find.
This is better work from Barrett.
Macy just in survival mode, really.
Well, what Barrett's tried to do in this round is just back him up, just trying to cement his victory, but Macy's backing off again, you know, thinking he can outbox this guy from range. Bad tactic. Good right hand from Macy, though.
And a good left as well. He has got that ability. When he sets himself on a shot, you really don't know what's going to happen. He's got that power, but that's just 2 punches he's landed. Has it been enough? Good shot again. The oohs and the ahs of the crowd.
It appears everybody's sitting on the edge of their seats, you know, the anticipation of one guy getting knocked out. First somebody takes the ascendancy and then the other one does.
Well, you wouldn't like to have your money riding on this one, would you?
Barrett needs to just, you know, throw all caution to the wind now. And just let both hands go.
A bit of use of the head, and Macy looking to the referee for a little bit of support, which doesn't come. Barrett getting inside and roughing him up. Minute to go. Who's going to be able to produce the grandstand finish?
Both fighters are tired. You know, there's not really any clean work being done by either participant. It would be nice to see somebody be a little bit more imaginative going into this last round, you know, i.e. Barrett, and start using his jab if he can to look for that right hand or the left hook that he had earlier. But Macy's just intent on just counter punching.
They are desperately tired. Still looking for the one big payoff blow. Who's going to have the big attack? There's a good right hand goes in from Barrett. Macy looking unsteady, and Barrett landing with a big right of his own. Macy comes back and throws a right off the ropes, but Barrett's finishing the stronger once again.
Yeah, it's Barrett's round. This last one, he's really turned it on when he really needed to.
Well, the bell goes to end it. Barrett thinks he's won it. Macy holds his arms aloft as well. Barrett certainly won the last 5 rounds or so. If it was a 5-round fight, he'd have it. But Macy won the first 5 rounds. Maybe not all of them, but certainly edged it. If you look at the faces of the two men, no doubt who's won it. Macy there can barely see through that left eye, while Monty Barrett, apart from the nick over that right eye, over that left eye rather, is virtually unmarked. So it's going to go down to the judges' cards. And I wouldn't like to bet one way or the other.
Well, you know, boxing's such a subjective thing when it comes to scoring. I wouldn't like to be a judge, but I wouldn't be surprised if a draw would be a fair verdict, in my opinion.
Your gut feeling when you look at the two men at the end of the fight, though, is that Barrett has finished the fresher, landed the telling punches in the closing stages, and maybe won it. But here comes the verdict. Let's see what the judges say.
Scorecards with a majority decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Tom Schreck, scores about 94-94, even a draw. Overruled by judges Joe Dwyer, who scores about 94-93, and Arthur Mercanti, who scores about 95-93, in favor of the winner, and still undefeated, Baby Joe Macy.
Bitter disappointment then for Monty Barrett. Macy gets a close, controversial decision, but it showed his limitations.